For nearly 2 years, President Donald J. Trump has employed the term fake news to describe the mainstream media and what he perceives as their bias towards him, his family, and his administration. I can't blame him for his frustration and upset, but I believe he's wrong, completely wrong. The media may be putting out some fake news, but their primary goal is to be an anti-state propaganda machine for the new Democratic Party and its growing number of socialist supporters. They are no different than state-run television in China, Russia, Iran and Iraq during Saddam Hussein's rule. Think about it. The mainstream media aggressively promotes anti-American political activism daily, while at the same time attacking the president, his family and supporters, and intentionally diminishing or outright ignoring all of this administration's successes and achievements. Last week, the remains of 55 American servicemen that were killed in the Korean War more than 60 years ago were flown out of North Korea, back to the United States in an unprecedented gesture by the North Korean government. Under any other president in my lifetime, Democratic or Republican, this would have been the #1 news story for days, and the entire country would have united behind our president to watch their journey home, meet the families they left behind, hear their stories, and watch the ceremonies, but we saw close to nothing. These heroic soldiers deserved that coverage and recognition for their sacrifices, and that of their families, and they did not get it for political reasons. The media has done everything in their power to diminish the president's efforts to denuclearize North Korea, and the 65-year-old Korean War, and return the remains of those missing. The New York Times and other outlets work feverishly to turn the administration's success into negatives, at the same time spewing incendiary propaganda. They make a far-left New York congressional candidate like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez the poster child for the Democratic Party, a woman who has called on protesters to occupy airports, border crossings, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) offices nationwide, clearly criminal conduct. Everything that comes out of this woman's mouth is anti-American and based on the same socialist and communist ideology we've seen in Cuba, Venezuela, and other poverty-stricken nations, where socialism has failed. These media outlets aggressively target the president with allegations racism and bigotry, with their socialist and communist following cheering to their rhetoric. A bigot is a person who is intolerant toward those holding different opinions, but there is no one more intolerant than the socialist media, and some members of the Democratic Party, that loathe the president because he believes that America should come first before all other nations, that we should secure our borders and people entering our country should do so legally or be held accountable for breaking the law, or that we should have global fair trade and no longer be taken advantage of by other nations. Because he believes that every American should stand for the national anthem, and pay our respects to the men and women in our armed forces for their sacrifices, the media has turned him into a racist, when in fact this has nothing to do with race, and everything to do patriotism, and love for our country. It seems like anything that relates to patriotism, God and prayer, our flag, and the Second Amendment, they are against. They attack the president's Black and Latino supporters. Because he openly supports our military service members and local, state, and federal police, they label him as racist and being a Nazi. The president's former communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, said very recently that the president has a right to be upset about the media bias, and, tactically and strategically, the rhetoric he's using is very, very bad for the country. Anthony Scaramucci is right. The president and this administration should stop focusing so much on fake news and come up with a strategy for educating the American people about the socialist and communist threat in our country and how devastating and dangerous this is, and how we need to combat it. Every day, this movement, the mainstream media, and the Democratic Party are attempting to destroy our founding fathers' creation, and what Donald J. Trump is trying to restore. The sooner we admit and realize that, and deal with it, the better off we're going to be. As New York City's 40th Police Commissioner, Bernard Kerik was in command of the NYPD on September 11, 2001, and responsible for the city's response, rescue, recovery, and the investigative efforts of the most substantial terror attack in world history. His 35-year career has been recognized in more than 100 awards for meritorious and heroic service, including a Presidential Commendation for Heroism by President Ronald Reagan, 2 Distinguished Service Awards from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Ellis Island Medal of Honor, and an appointment as Honorary Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. To read more of his reports, click here now. U.S. Daily, the mainstream media and the Democratic Party are attempting to destroy our Founding Fathers' creation, and what President Donald J. Trump is trying to restore. The sooner we admit and realize that, the better off we're going to be. China, Democratic, Founding, Nazi, Scaramucci 848 Monday 6 August 2018 12:34 p.m. 20183406 Monday 6 August 2018 12:34 p.m. Newsmax Inc. Newsmax Inc.